Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Charles, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and where we give you guys the first perspective on things. And now we see them, and boy, oh boy, we have an episode here for you guys today. So make sure you go and like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm sure some of you are wondering why I'm wearing this sweater because it's cold as hell, and we ain't built for that. But anyway, let me get into this topic here. So about a month or two ago, I'm not exactly sure, JJ Redick was on ESPN First Take. He was on there, and he was debating Chris Mad Dog Russo, right? Who some guys seem not to like for whatever reason, whatever. And during the debate, JJ Redick made some comments about players that played in the past when Bob Cousy was a player, because y'all know that Chris Mad Dog Russo likes to bring up Bob Cousy, and he really likes him a lot. And basically, JJ Redick went on there and basically referred to players from that generation, basically saying that he was playing against a bunch of plumbers and firemen. And those comments sparked a major debate between the old and the new, right? And after some after some weeks went by, Bob Cousy himself came out and responded to JJ Redick and basically said, who is this guy? Like, who is this guy? Basically saying this about me, right? Like, who is this guy, right? And that's really where it ended, and people gave their back and forth, and a lot of people were, basically saluting Bob Cousy, were basically pushing back on what JJ Redick had to say. But now it seems as if former legend in Jerry West has also decided to respond to some of the comments that JJ Redick made back on ESPN First Take during his recent appearance on Sirius XM NBA radio, and he did not hold back. But before we get into those comments, this video is sponsored by Aura, the official sponsor of this video and the official sponsor of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Do you know what the fastest growing crime in America is today? It's identity theft. Imagine trying to log into your email only to see that your password has been changed. Then you start getting weird notifications from your bank and credit cards, only to find out that all of your personal and sensitive information has been totally compromised. If you think it can happen to you and your family, just know that in 2020, over 49 million Americans were victims to identity theft, costing them a combined $56 billion. That is why we are excited to partner with Aura, who's the sponsor of this video. Aura is the #1 identity theft and financial fraud protection. Aura monitors the dark web and alerts you if any of your passwords and accounts have been breached. And funny enough, after using Aura, I discovered some of my credentials were floating around in the dark web, and the app showed me exactly when and where the breach happened. In addition, Aura allows you to set spending alerts, and they'll notify you of any suspicious transactions. Aura is 4 times faster than any of its competitors in alerting you if someone is trying to open a credit card or obtain a loan using your name. And remember this, every 14 seconds, someone becomes a victim of identity fraud. Don't let it happen to you. Now click the link in the description and try Aura for free for 2 weeks and see if any of you or your family's personal information has been compromised. Start your free trial at aura.com/dreamerspro. And when you try Aura, by using the link in the description below, also know that you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So let's take a listen. I want you guys to listen to what Jerry West had to say, and then we're going to come back and unpack this. So take a listen to what he had to say.
JJ Redick, a current player who just recently retired, said that Bob Cousy played against firemen and plumbers, and Bob came on and wasn't too pleased. And, you played in that era, and those guys set the table for us to be where we are today. And I was just interested in your thoughts on comments like that about your generation and the generations that paved the way.
Well, obviously the game is completely different. The athletes are completely different. And I know JJ just a little bit. He's a very smart kid and everything. Look, tell me what his career looked like. What did he do that determined games? He averaged 12 points a game in the league. Somewhere along the way, numbers count. At that point in time, the players aren't what they used to be. JJ certainly wasn't going to guard the elite players. And so you can nitpick anyone. And I'm not, the only reason I'm talking about him is because he was not an elite player, but he was a very good player. But he had a place on the team because of his ability to shoot the ball. But those players at that era, and again, that was when I started to see a difference in athleticism. My era, I was an athlete way before my time. I had a huge vertical. Probably no one in the league was much faster than me. And certainly the competitive part of it, I would put myself among any player that played the game. Today also, winning is all that matters. That's what drove me. And I subtly got better every year. We didn't have the facilities to get better. We had to work in the summers to support our family. But JJ should be very thankful that he's made as much money as he's made. And Bob Cousy, who I played against a couple of years, not very long, I just think it's very disrespectful myself.
So you heard what he had to say to JJ Redick. Here's my takeaway from all of this. I believe at the heart of all of this, there are two things that are happening. Number one, the current generation of players don't seem to have much respect for those that paved the way for them. I think that's the first thing that's kind of happening. The second thing is that I think these guys don't really have an appreciation for what those guys had to go through when they were playing back in the day versus what players have to go through right now. This is what I believe. I think these are the two things that's happening. I don't really see it as the older generation of players, hating on the younger guys. I don't really see it that way. There are a number of examples of older players giving credit and heaping praise on current players playing today. I can give you some names like Isaiah Thomas, Jerry West, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Scottie Pippen, Bill Russell, Magic Johnson. There's plenty of audio out there of these guys saying wonderful things about modern day players. So I don't really think it has something to do with older players hating on current players. I don't believe that's the case. I just believe that's just a narrative or a sentiment that a lot of these guys feel, and they're just trying to pass that on. Right? I don't think that's the case. I just believe in my heart that I think a lot of the modern day players are probably just very, 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 very sensitive. And I think they take everything as some type of diss or something like that. The fact of the matter is this, and I don't believe this is a refutable point. The fact of the matter is this. It was tougher back then to be an NBA player. Not just because of the nature of the game itself with the physicality, but just the logistics around being a basketball player back then, like the travel situation. Even if you look at it from a health and fitness standpoint, the fitness facilities that those guys had then versus what players have now, it's like two different universes. Have you guys actually seen images of Tim Grover training Michael Jordan when he was a Chicago Bull? Have you seen any of those images? Have you seen what some of those weight rooms used to look like versus what modernized NBA arenas and practice facilities look like today? I mean, it's like night and day, right? And now it's not like as if these guys were in the Stone Ages, no. But you can clearly see the difference of what players have today versus what players had in the past. This is irrefutable information that I'm giving to you. It's not something, oh, it's your opinion. It's not an opinion. It's not an opinion. Most teams, I believe, or all teams today have chartered flights. Each team has its own jet that I believe it charters for the entire season. I follow so many different teams, and like the Laker teams and all of these different teams. I followed it. I've seen it, right? So it's a totally different game from that perspective. And I want to give you guys an example that I think everyone can relate to, whether you're in the past or today. I want to give you guys an example. The question is this: what environment do you think is more difficult to operate under? An environment where you have interest rates at 15% or an environment where interest rates are 7%? The obvious answer is the 7% is easier because it puts less pressure on you as a business to make money to pay back that loan quicker. I mean, this is very, very easy to understand. It doesn't mean that that when you're doing business with a 7% interest meaning the loan that you borrow, you're paying back 7%. It doesn't mean that business is easy all of a sudden, because it is still a lot of hard work and you're not guaranteed to succeed. It just means that the pressure that you have to pay back that loan is a little bit less because it's not accruing so much interest on you, right? And it's compounding. It's a totally different thing. And I think that's that's a distinguishing factor here. It doesn't mean that business is easier today. It just means that the circumstances of which you're operating under are a little bit more lenient, right? What's harder? Would you rather borrow money from somebody and pay them 15% of the money or 7%? So it allows guys to take more risks, because now today you don't have to worry about paying off these crazy. And in some countries, those interest rates are at 20% or even higher, and guys are still finding ways, to make things happen. So to me, I think JJ Redick's comments, about players in the past exposes a big issue that we have in society today, which is this. I believe that the younger generation, a lot of them just don't respect their elders, man. Like, you can boil it all the way down to that. They just don't respect their elders. For some guys, they can confidently talk about their elders like it's nothing. And to some people, it's like it's normal. I want you guys to think about this for a second. A lot of the modern day players are in their 20s and 30s. Think about that. When they're going at guys from the past, these guys are usually in their 50s, 60s, and in some case, 70s. Think about what I just said. You have 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds going at 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds, and sometimes 70-year-olds. Where does that exist at? How do you have when did that become normal for us to not have any respect for those guys? And I've heard a lot of guys say that, oh, y'all are just jealous because we made more money than you. So let me understand this for a second here. Are you saying to me that you feel comfortable disrespecting your elders or people older than you because you make more money than them? So that gives you the confidence to disrespect people that are older than you? You don't realize that says something about you? That says more about you than the person you're talking to? Like, when did we get to this? This is just one of the issues that we are facing as young men today. This is one of the issues where you have younger guys disrespecting older guys, and some people see nothing wrong with it. It's weird to me. Like, it's really, really weird that we've gotten to a place where that can happen. Like, it's weird. You shouldn't feel this level of confidence to disrespect those guys are just as good as you. But if the money that you make is what you're holding on to make you feel like, I can talk to them this type of way, something is wrong with you. Because it means that, so what's next? You gonna disrespect your uncle or somebody like this because you're richer than him? But so therefore at his age, the fact that he's your senior doesn't matter? Well, I'm richer than him, so I can say whatever it is. That's some weirdo behavior, in my personal opinion. And I think that this is what it's exposing on a larger scale. On a larger scale. It's not like, since when did we start talking to our elders like this? It's weird. And I grew up in a situation where I've had my elders scold me and all of these different things or whatever it is. I've met guys that I'm probably more successful than, but they can still reprimand me. And I'm just going to say, man, get out of my face. You ain't making no money. Like, that's just weird. But these are my thoughts and opinions on this. That's my takeaway. What I want to know from you guys. What do you think? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We catch y'all on the next episode. Peace.